What is up, guys, and welcome back to yet again another Visualized History and Lore video. Today we have something super cool. We have a new announcement from Amazon. Not any old Amazon, the Amazon Prime. Not any old Amazon Prime though. Lord of the Rings on Prime. Yes, Amazon had bought out the rights to Lord of the Rings once J.R.R. Tolkien's son has stepped down, and finally the Tolkien estate and Middle-earth company is looking to expand their rights and get some shows, products, media out there now that the rights are a little more easily available. There was a bidding war and Amazon got it. Now Amazon decided to make it into a TV show. They have I think they bought it for $250 million, and they have at least $1 billion promised to a five season series of Lord of the Rings. And that's what they have access to right now. Now, they created a Twitter account called LTR on Prime, and over there they have been releasing some little snippets, some little quotes from Tolkien, etc., and from the books to try and give us a little bit of insight into their thought process. And today, we got something absolutely amazing. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to go over and jump onto Twitter, and I'm going to show you exactly what they have. Alright guys, here we are, and now I want you all to refrain from looking towards the top, because that's a little bit of a spoiler. I'm not sure how you get rid of that. But on February the 13th was the first tweet from the L2R on Prime Twitter. Now, I was going to cover it a little bit, but there just wasn't enough information there, and you'll see as I go on exactly what they were releasing and how they were releasing it. And the way they're doing this, honestly, I can tell there's somebody over there who actually cares about Lord of the Rings. Just the way they're doing it. You can tell there's attention. There's a little bit of a heart in it. Now, on the 13th, they released, "I wisely started with a map, J.R.R. Tolkien." This is a quote from J.R.R. Tolkien, a famous quote from him when he was asked about creating the Lord of the Rings. And of course, back when J.R.R. Tolkien created Lord of the Rings, fiction was not meant to be a thing for adults. It was very much a child's book. Fiction books were only meant for children, and J.R.R. Tolkien really, any reason we have sci-fi or any sort of fiction today, it's because J.R.R. Tolkien and his buddy, the creator of Narnia, his name's escaped me, it's Christopher something. I want to say Christopher Lee, but I completely forget his name. The creator of Narnia really were the pioneers for what we know today as fiction, etc. They started with that quote, and then again on February the 15th, they released a map of Middle-earth. Now, people were flipping out a little bit, because as you see on this map, we pull this up here. On this map, they have, of course, the Oricani Mountains over here. Now, the majority of people who just watch the shows don't really know about this, and even the people who read the books don't really know about this. The Oricani Mountains were hinted to off into the east, and I believe there's supposed to be a body of water over here, and it's believed that on the bay of that body of water is where the elves first awoke, and of course there is where Sauron started. Morgoth or Melkor, however you prefer, started finding them, tormenting them. But of course they were found. They sent 3 emissaries off onto Amon, and then eventually came back, told them that there's a safe place where they can go and live forever in peace, away from the evils of Middle Earth. So that's when they start their trek. Now, it's also believed over here that the 4 clans, or the 4 houses of the dwarfs, of course, as they awoke, were in these mountains, because I just remember it was hinted over there. But again, we don't really know much about the Oricani. So when I saw this, I wasn't really excited. Of course, they could have been touching on those things, but for them to go all the way back to that, I mean, how could they? And of course, what everybody's trying to do right now, they're trying to say, hey, what is the show going to be about? And this just wasn't enough to go off on. And of course, they showed the Oricani Mountains, which is kind of unusual if you're showing a map of Middle-earth. But they also gave the quote, 3 rings for the elven kings under the sky. And of course, that is a quote describing all the rings and who they went to. And then, of course, 1 ring to rule them all, and the darkness bind them. Again, there wasn't enough to go on. There's conflicting information like that, and I didn't want to jump on it just yet. Then continue on. Alright, and then again, 3 days later, on February the 18th, they released another map showing the new map with a little more information on it, and I'll show you the map right now. And of course, if you're a dedicated Lord of the Rings fan, You already know most of these places for the most part, and of course the major places. They of course release a new quote under the map, which is 7 for the Dwarf Lords and their halls of stone. And of course, again, now I'm starting to see the pattern. I know what they're going to say next. 9, for the race of men doomed to die. And again, it just showed some of the Linden, Fordwaith, Eredor, etc. Just showed some of the names around here. And there's more teasers. And around this point, people started to think, hey, this is most likely about Aragorn. That would make sense. I don't know how this rumor got started, but that's what they started with. It could be about Aragorn in his younger days when he was fighting with the Rohirrim. When he was traveling, because he says he has been to, he's seen the White City before. He says he's been far out east, so he could be doing that. And then, of course, I looked at that and I said, there's nothing to go on that. There's nothing to prove that. So I was always very skeptical. Then on February the 25th, they released another map, and this one is again just a standard map, again showing some more here. So when they started to show this here, every time they add a little something, I'm starting to think, well, now they could be, because when they add those names, I know they're thinking about those areas. And of course, 9 for mortal men doomed to die. Like I said, I already knew that was going to be the next quote coming out, and I assume most people who know them, know Lord of the Rings, probably guessed that would be the next one to come out. And 1 for the Dark Lord on his dark throne in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. And of course, again, now they're showing some more of the rivers here and the Anduin and all that. They're starting to get to the particulars. And this is your standard map. And of course, they showed him Lodris here, so that's making me think, well, they're thinking about a Lodris. They show even a Numenos up here, which was in Fornost up here. And that really got me ticking. I was like, oh my god. If they took the time to write out a Numenos and Fornost on here, and I mean they're going into detail in Linden and in Eriador. I mean, they could have gone into detail down near Harad and down here, but they didn't do as much as they doing up here. And I'm like, oh baby, please be what I think it is. And of course, today, oh baby, today, on the 7th, they released the official map. Oh my god, when I saw this map, I about lost myself. I lost myself. 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them in the land of shadows in the land of Mordor where the shadow lies. Whatever. I was trying to make it sound cool. It didn't sound cool. But you know what they did do? They said, haha, we were messing around with all this. Here's the Whopper. Fuck. Numenor. Oh my god. Like, my wildest dreams. You ever know a game's coming out and they promise all these things and you're like, look, I know they're not going to do it. I know they're lying to me. Just give me the base concept of the game. That's what I'll expect on release. That's what I mostly expect to be polished up, and that's what I expect to be playing the most of. I'm okay with that. Give it to me. So when they're giving me stuff, I'm like, okay, well, it's Lord of the Rings. Just give it to me. When I see Shadow of War come out and they have some stupid shit in there, I'm like, whatever, give it to me. It's Lord of the Rings. Take my money, it's Lord of the Rings. And if I give more money to them, they're going to make more Lord of the Rings stuff, right? So I see this, I'm not thinking anything of it. But then, boom, they bring out Numenor. Like, that was in my wildest dream. Because if anybody who knows me knows I'm a hardcore Arnorian geek. I love Arnor. I love the Civil War. I love the Gondorian Civil War. I love, oh my gosh, you don't even know. I have like a hard on for Elendil and his son Isildur and Numenor and all that stuff. Of course, before they go to the R prefix and start becoming assholes. You know, the history of it, the son of Elendil, Elrond and Elros, who Elrond, of course, decides to become an elf, where his brother Elros becomes a mortal man who goes to this gifted island from Eru and starts this kingdom of Numenor with the faithful men who helped in the First Age. Like, you don't even know how cool it is. And that was released, and then again, 7 hours ago, again released with this map, we have Welcome to the Second Age. Oh my god. And of course, once you see Numenor, I saw Numenor before I saw they said that, so at first I was like, please don't be teasing me, please put out, you know what I mean? Don't just tease me, girl, put out. So they had Numenor there, and then I saw Welcome to the Second Age. I about lost myself. I absolutely lost myself. Because if they say welcome to the second age, there's just so much, absolutely so much they can do. Not only do they just give Numenor, they give like mental Tarma and stuff. Like they start listing the different 5 points of the star in Numenor, and of course the holy mountain in the middle, to which none can speak on. Its highest and feeling to Eru, the one, the god. I mean, the show that they're putting this much attention into it, there's an innumerable amount of things they can do. They can show I mean, in the show, because like they have literally the entire second age, which is like one of the most interesting ages. The first age is super interesting because you have people, well, you have, you know, the war against Morgoth and all that, and Morgoth getting banished, etc. Then of course you can show Elros forming Numenor. You can show the life of the Numenorians. You can show them coming over and starting to build in Middle Earth. You can show Sauron and the trickery and the deception he does in the Region, and the creation of the rings. You can show Celebrimbor at Region and the Noldors in the second age. And then you can show Elrond, a previous character who was a lieutenant for Gil-galad at the time. And then you show the building the refuge of Rivendell. You can show the Sauron and the elves over the rings. You can show the hiding of the 3 rings of the elves under the sky. You can then show what else can you show? You can show Sauron being captured by the Numenorians coming over in the Umbar. You can show the founding of Umbar, or the starting of the founding of Umbar by the Numenorians. You can show him Sauron being captured, brought back to Numenor, and then becoming the high priest of Numenor, controlling and deceiving the Numenorians into the R prefix. Well, I think the R prefix happened actually before he got there. And then when he got there, he became the priest, high priest. They started sacrificing the Elendil, which are the faithful to the elves still, upon Menel Tarma. You can then show them sailing off to Aman and Ar-Pharazôn stepping foot on Aman, and then Eru removing Aman completely from Arda, making Arda round, and then sinking Numenor into the sea. You can show Isildur saving a sapling from Nimloth, the tree of Nimloth, and sailing with his brother and his father over into Middle Earth. You can show the founding of Arnor. You can show the building of what we know now as Minas Tirith. You can show the building of Osgiliath when it was a capital, and etc. You can show the Numinos and the Splendor, or it could go even into the war against Angmar and the Witch King. You can show the raising of the Witch Kings, and the Witch Kings now fighting and destroying the Northern Kingdom. And you can show the siege of Fornos. You can show the siege. Speaking of the war between the Sauron and the elves, you can show the siege of Lindon and Rivendell. There's just so much. I mean, the second age is so packed full of stuff they can do, and I'm so glad they have not limited themselves. The fact that they're showing Numenor still up, the fact that just shows you how much they're not focusing on what we already know, like the founding of Arnor and Gondor, the Civil Wars in Arnor and Gondor, the fall of the Northern Kingdom, and of course the last alliance and destroying of, well, the Dagor, etc. No, they're even going further back, which what we all have been wanting. I'm just so excited for this. And of course, going on with that, you can also show the War of the Last Alliance, etc. There's just an innumerable amount of things they can show in this, and this is absolutely huge. This is what I've been waiting for to make a video on right here. And then of course I already gave out a bunch of ideas what they could cover, or they could cover it all. I mean, they could go a whole 5 seasons, 1 seasons for every, like, you know, 1500 years or whatever in the second age. But I'll be posting videos later on in more detail about the more reasonable topics they could be covering. Obviously they can't cover everything I just covered, because that's an entire age of, you know, of the Arda. So I'll probably make some other videos going over exactly what they reasonably could cover in a TV show. But for right now, it doesn't matter. This is what we needed. This is what we want. This is amazing, and I can't believe I'm looking at Numenor. They even have it on their banner, which shows me and makes me think that, you know, they're going further into it. If that's their headline or their banner, Numenor, that tells me, it gives me a good range of what we could be covering, I'm ecstatic. You guys should be too. And if you want to keep up to date on this stuff, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you want to wait for my videos to come out where I describe the reasonable topics that they could be covering with the show within the Second Age, you let me know. You comment, subscribe, like, and again, let me know what you all think down below. And what are your ideas? What do you think they'd be covering in the Second Age? I'm just all over the place. I saw this and I hopped immediately on my computer to post a video. Freaking awesome. Alright, guys. I'll catch you later and see you then.